Good evening and welcome to the new video edition of Market Recap. It's Thursday, September the 1st. Let's hope that September turns out to be better than August. Start with my market model, and as you can see, it is all red. Everything trading below the moving averages, all the moving averages trending down. This is no time to be invested. Great time to be in cash. So I'm going to take a look at the charts and they'll probably show this in a little bit more detail as to why these arrows are doing what they're doing. Move that out of the way. So first off, I should just take an extra couple of minutes here to explain my setup so that you follow a little easier. On the right here is my daily chart. And superimposed on the top of it is a line chart showing the close of the Standard & Poor's 500. So I use this to judge whether the stock that I'm looking at is performing in line with the market, better than the market, or worse than the market. So it just gives me a quick gauge. In here is the meat of it, and the daily chart is my go-to chart. That is my main reference. I have 4 moving averages on here, which correlate to my the model that I post every night. The green one is a 8-day moving average. The red one is the 21-day moving average. The blue is the 50, and the magenta is the big daddy, the 200-day moving average. Next to it, I do have a weekly chart. Same thing, the blue one corresponds to the 40-week, and this line is the 10-week moving average. And this just allows me to step back a little bit and just take a bigger picture, make sure that the weekly and the daily are sort of aligned, all systems go, trades work much better when things are aligned. So that's my basic setup. Now, for you, most of you don't need to invest in complicated trading or software packages for charting. There's lots of free services out there, and any of you that have online brokerage accounts, charting services, I would hope, come free with the package. If they don't, then find a new broker. And if you need help setting these things up with indicators and what have you, I'll be glad to do that. And in fact, one of the tutorials I'll probably do maybe this weekend or sometime next week is just how this can be set up in, I use Questrade. So how I would set it up if I were just looking at the market once a day or even once a week using Questrade's chart. So I can help you with that. So just reach out to me. So this, incidentally, before we get to the indexes, this chart is the Canadian bond indexes. So how would you like to be in bonds for the last 2 years? This clearly said we should have been out of bonds somewhere around 2021. They haven't performed any better than stocks have. So anyway, I digress. So let's look at the major averages that I pay attention to. And we'll start with Toronto. And you see another nasty day after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row down. Everything below the moving averages, nothing to do here. The Standard & Poor's 500, SPY, same story. Everything's below all the moving averages. We did have a nice bit of a reversal today, which primarily is a result of Apple, Google, and I believe it's Tesla were up on the day. So that sort of helped drive that recovery, but most stocks were down. Qs, NASDAQ down, same story. It's interesting here, if I draw a line here on, this is the Standard & Poor's, and I draw the same line here on NASDAQ, you can see that NASDAQ tends to go down faster than the Standard & Poor's. but it also tends to go up faster than the Standard & Poor's. So just something worth paying attention to. I also look at small caps, IWM. It's basically the same story. And the mid caps, MDY. Same story again. So really not much to do. I will take a look. When I was looking at the underlying action for why the spiders and the Qs were showing the strength that they did today in the afternoon, I came out. NVIDIA is a big, as I have a what's called a FANG stocks. There's about 5 or 6 big, really biggies that make up the QQQ index, and I don't trade them. But I do pay attention to what they're doing. And I noticed NVIDIA, which is everybody follows, every institution owns. If you have any mutual funds, undoubtedly you own NVIDIA. But had you owned the stock, and again, this is just another reason why we have rules and sell rules. This traded in late 2021, almost at $350, and here we are down at about 140. Again, with a simple 8% stop loss rule, you'd have been out, I don't know, somewhere around 310 and saved yourself, what, $180 worth per share of stock deterioration. Anyway, that's enough said about that. But some of these big stocks are just as prone to the big dives. I did this morning on the move down, back to Qs, I did get stopped out of all my positions except for one. So at one point this morning, about an hour after the market open, I was in 94% cash. But I did nibble at a couple of new positions, and I had one holdover from yesterday, which I'll just very quickly review. The one I bought yesterday is Global Partners. It's an oil and gas limited partnership. I bought it yesterday when it was showing a lot of strength. Yesterday was a big down day in the market. This one was up. Oil was off quite a bit today, 4 or 5%. So this one got hurt a little bit, but not enough to do any damage. My stop is down here. The other interesting thing, you notice the slope of the Standard & Poor's, the SPY is down. And this one actually, if you draw an arrow, it's actually trending up. So that's what I like about this particular one. It has a relative strength to the overall market. So I kept that one over. And then I opened 2 new positions today. Other one is in Harmonics, symbol HAE. And again, this doesn't look all that pretty. And it did have a little shakeout bar. I owned this actually from a couple of days ago, and I got shaken out early this morning. But on the strength, I could see it recovering, and I ended up buying it back. And my stop now is under the low of the day, so I'm extremely tight stop on this. But I won't bore you with all the fundamentals and whatnot, but this company really has a lot of cylinders going for it. So I'm hopeful. But again, you can see the relative strength. The market's going down. This one is at least staying flat. And the other one I bought today was Northrop Grumman. It's a $75 billion defense contractor. Not exactly the prettiest of charts, but again, it's holding up. Looks better on a weekly chart. It's holding up really strong in a weak market. And again, I bought this with a stop under today's low, which happens to be the 50-day moving average. So if it goes below that tomorrow, then I'm out of here. But what I'm expecting is a move back up. And if it ever gets through 497, I'll be buying some more, looking for a move much, much higher. So that's it. That's the recap for the day. Everybody, tomorrow will be a very quiet day, I think, with the long weekend. I probably won't trade at all. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you. Cheers.